Hey, JulesBlessedVegan, and as always, welcome to my channel. And for those of you who are new, I know you can benefit. So I'm talking about the 100 most toxic foods on the planet. I know it's a happy topic. You know, it's a necessary one, especially for a person like me, because I do come from compulsive overeating, which suggests just suddenly acting on an urge, right? To compulsively consume food without thought. And in my experience, gigantic quantities of that food. And so to go through these foods and remind myself with each one why it doesn't serve me is really necessary. So this is actually day 3, and it is foods 11 through 15. And this is from the article, Eat This, Not That. I actually appreciate these guys because they really do their homework. There's a ton of hyperlinks, which you'll certainly be able to reference if you want. So number 11 is frosting. Okay, they ain't playing. Like, before I even read it, I will tell you what a frosting junkie I was. Like, honestly, those little containers of, what's her name? Betty. Wow, really? Okay, Betty Crocker. So those little, containers of Betty Crocker, forget the cake. I would just eat the dang thing. And then inevitably have to sneak to the store and buy another one because I couldn't admit that I just ate that entire thing with just a spoon, right? And worse than that, I was a babysitter in like 8th grade, 13. And the lady was a cake decorator. That was her profession. And she had those gigantic, squeezable, I don't even know what they're called. But I would go in there like every other commercial or something and take a squirt of one of them. And I literally was eating her out of business. She was just like, I love you as a babysitter, but I have to let you go because you are ruining my business. Not even kidding you. I mean, so embarrassing and shameful. I thought I was actually having discipline. I can't even imagine how much frosting I consumed. God bless her. So yeah, Betty Crocker, that was like the main one. There's certainly other brands, but let's go ahead and see what it says. So frosting. Unhealthy ingredients, titanium dioxide. Well, I think about titanium as the hip my grandmother had replaced, as the rods in my niece's legs, right? Caramel color, artificial colors, and propylene glycol, let alone sugar, which, that isn't even what they mentioned here. So it says birthdays are a time to celebrate something you shouldn't celebrate. Your frosting being made with chemicals. Amen. Many brand name frostings, such as Duncan Hines, creamy home-style vanilla, are made with partially hydrogenated soybean and cottonseed oils. And despite being white, many of these frostings are tinted with potentially carcinogenic, remember that's cancer-provoking, contaminated dyes, such as caramel color and titanium dioxide and artificial colors. Lastly, the propylene glycol in many frosting recipes has been linked to poor kidney health. Hello, kidney disease. By research in the American Journal of Kidney Diseases. Wow. So they always recommend and eat this instead. And this is cool. It says healthy frosting is easy to make and it's delicious using avocados and dark chocolate. And of course, I use cacao powder sometimes. You can create a decadent buttercream-like frosting that takes just seconds to prepare and is loaded with mood boosting. And this, it says cocoa. No. I say cacao. Is that how you spell cocoa? Probably. Cocoa flavonols and monounsaturated fats, which can reduce your risk of cardiovascular disease. Wow, what a great solution. So interesting. Okay, number 12, pancake syrup. Please don't even get me started. I was thinking, look, I'm not eating meat like everybody else. It's not a hamburger. I'm just having pancakes, all you can eat, right? At Denny's and IHOP. And of course, it ended up having eggs and milk and what else? All of the things I didn't need for sure, let alone the pancake syrup, which of course they'd have like 4 or 5 different kinds. And I just had to have some blueberry and some strawberry and some regular and a second and a third thing of pancakes. Not even kidding you. And I felt pretty good about that. What? I know. Unhealthy ingredients, high fructose corn syrup, and again, that caramel coloring. You'll find this in our list of 20 foods pretending to be something they're not. Amen. That's a hyperlink. Famous syrup brands like Aunt Jemima and Mrs. Butterworth are made with 2 ingredients we're constantly telling readers to avoid: liver-damaging high fructose corn syrup and carcinogen contaminated caramel coloring. How sad, right? And one thing we wish they actually had, which is real maple syrup. All right, and I know a lot of vegans love maple syrup, and even if you're using that, it needs to be an occasional, if ever, okay? Not a substitute or daily. So it says, eat this instead. The best syrup for your waistline is a grade A medium amber pure maple syrup. Because the flavor is so concentrated, a little goes a long way. I appreciate that. Saving you calories and sugar. For even more ways to cut back on white granulated stuff, don't miss 30 easy ways to stop eating so much sugar, which is another hyperlink. Number 13, bottled smoothies. I was so proud of myself when I would have my naked juice. You know, now I understand that anything with a shelf life, of course, is not raw, and those certainly have a bit of a shelf life. But at the time, it was the best I can do, and I was moving in the right direction. But anyway, bottled smoothies, what is the problem? Unhealthy ingredients, fiber, less fruit. There's no fiber. So it says busy mornings and grab-and-go breakfast are practically synonymous. So it's easy to see the appeal of store-bought smoothies. They seem like the best way to get what you crave in a pinch. But the time-saving drinks have a downside. Compared to fresh-made drinks, most of them fall short on nutrition and are so calorie and sugar-filled that your blood sugar is sure to skyrocket. Just take Naked's pomegranate blueberry smoothie as an example. Downing this entire bottle, and I wouldn't just do the one little serving, I'd do like the, family size. It will fill you up with a whopping 61 grams of sugar and absolutely 0 fiber. And that was with great things like blueberries, what? Let alone pomegranates. Be sure to avoid the worst healthy store-bought juices. Again, a hyperlink. Drink this instead. Play it safe by blending up homemade smoothies. It doesn't take very long, and they are easy to transport in a reusable container. Come on. And of course, there's a hyperlink on homemade smoothies. Number 14, charred meats. Now, I don't eat meat anymore, but I continue to prepare it for some people in my life. And when I think about that, when I did eat meat, if I even saw a little pink, I'd be like, ugh, like what, a sense that the dead meat is still alive. So I'd kill it even more by making sure that it was well done, which takes like 20 minutes instead of 7 or 8, right? So yeah, I would absolutely, not char, I didn't want it blackened, though I certainly did have charred fish, let's be fair. But I definitely would make sure it was completely cooked all the way through. So the unhealthy ingredient here is high heat. You forget to mention that it's a dead carcass, which is also unhealthy, but for sure high heat. So I'll just consider these tips for those I still prepare for. So it says grilling is awesome, but you have to watch your char. When you char meat, something called heteroglycic amines, or HCAs, I'll go with HCAs, develop when the creatine, sugars, and amino acids in the meat react to the high grilling temperatures. Several studies published have linked HCAs with an increased risk of oh my goodness, forgive me, it's late. Colorectal, yes. Pancreatic, breast, and prostate cancers. Eat this instead. To chop your risk, spice it up. adding antioxidant-rich spice extracts like rosemary. I'd love it if I can sneak rosemary into my husband's meat. To beef patties before grilling, and it can slash production of HCAs up to 90%, according to a study published in the Journal of Food Science. Another way to reduce your risk: turn down the heat, since burnt meat contains higher concentrations of HCAs, and even better, don't eat it at all. You can really cut the risk. Okay, lastly, fast food. Unhealthy ingredients: PHTHALATES. For me, that says phthalates, if the PH is an F, but I don't know. Okay, so it says you may not know how to pronounce it, absolutely, but you should know what, it's phthalate. Wait, phthalates? Phthalates. Phthalates. It's THAL, and it's a short A, so it's thale, and then ates, like he eats lots of food. Okay, so phthalates. That's because many of us are unknowingly eating this class of endocrine disrupting chemical toxins. Similar to BPA, phthalates are used in plastic food and beverage wrappers and packaging, and they're not staying there. In 2016, an environmental health perspective study found that people who ate fast food often had dose-dependent higher levels of phthalates compounds than infrequent eaters. And that's just the beginning of the bad news for all-day breakfast lovers, since a separate study published in the Environmental Science and Technology found phthalates to be associated with CRP markers of inflammation. And another study in the environmental health connected higher exposure to phthalates with metabolic syndrome, a disease also commonly associated with increased levels of inflammation and weight gain. And there's a ton of hyperlinks in there. Eat this instead. Our best advice is to reduce your trips to fast food places and perhaps look to fast casual restaurants instead, as these establishments use packaging less frequently. Our best advice: skip the trip if you can and try these 20 homemade healthy fast food recipes instead, which of course is a hyperlink. All right, people, so interesting. I don't mind visiting these. If you do, skip me for like 2 more weeks and come on back. But I am going to continue to go through these because, again, it's just spending time, you know, reminding myself of why I've chosen to go in a different direction, why I'm eating high carb, low fat, raw vegan, you know, why I'm going with plant-based and fruit and vegetables. And it's not that exciting to me. I mean, I do enjoy a lot of it, and my taste buds have most certainly changed, even though I've been like dealing with some detox or something right now. But sometimes while I'm eating that, my mind is still going to all the fun food, especially since I'm still preparing it or purchasing it for people in my life. And I'll be like, why? Like, why are you eating more lettuce, more fruit, more whatever? I mean, look at all the stuff around you. We could go for it, you know? And it's not just my monkey mind. It's just an interesting thing. I have over 50 years behind me, right, of eating nonsense, and only a couple of years of daring to choose what I'm presuming is a better way. And I know that to be true, but sometimes I have this argument with myself. You know, it's not the more popular thing to do. And then I'll remember it's because I am living to eat, not eating to live. And that's the difference. I'm eating to nourish my body, not to fulfill the societal whims, right? So I have to go through some of this to remind myself of why it absolutely doesn't serve me. All right, my friends, thanks so much for stopping by JVV. That's Jules Blessed Vegan, for those of you who don't know. Like if you'd like, join us if you haven't, subscribe. Let me know in the comments below how I may support you. Are you finding this interesting? Is there anything in here that you're rethinking? I would love that. And until we talk again, best of all, we are still on the planet unlike many others. So know that you are blessed.